Ladies and gentlemen, IEC Entertainment presents Strike Force Kickboxing Championships. At this time, we present the ISKA Intercontinental Championship in the welterweight division, Muay Thai rules. This bout is scheduled for 5 rounds of action. Our judges at ringside, Abe Millardo, Susan Thomas Gitland, and Jack Reese. And our referee in charge of the action is John Shorley. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you first on my left. Fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with multicolored trim, joining us all the way from Argenteuil, France. He weighed in at the welterweight limit, 147 pounds, with a record of 41 wins, only 5 losses. He is the freestyle rules world champion. Introducing Mourad Sari. And his opponent ready to fight on my right. Out of the blue corner, this 5-round Intercontinental Championship bout. Wearing black trunks, blue trim. Fighting out of San Francisco, California. He weighed in the same weight as his opponent, 147 pounds. His record, 67 wins, 11 losses with 38 knockouts. Introducing the ISKA Oriental Rules World Champion, introducing Jongsanan Fairtex. Once again, our referee in charge, John Shorley, now to give instructions. 5 rounds of action scheduled.
Okay, guys, I expect a good, clean fight out of both of you. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourselves at all times. Starts close now. Come out fighting the bell. Good luck.
Well, Mike Sawyer, the one thing that is always nice to see is when you get a crowd behind what is now a local fighter in Fairtex. And even though he comes from Bangkok, trains in San Francisco, and this crowd is really behind him.
They are, and for good reason. He's a real crowd pleaser.
So we're ready for the first of 5 rounds, Muay Thai action, 3-minute rounds. It is Sari and the white trunks.
Sofas from $199, sectionals from $599, 3-piece bedrooms from $199, mattresses.
Out of a non-Thai fighter hold that kind of title. Both fighters world champions in different disciplines. This a Muay Thai title fight. ISKA Intercontinental title on the line tonight.
Jongsanan, one of the best leg kickers in the business. You see him concentrating a lot on heavy, full hip extended roundhouse kicks to both the legs and under the arms.
Five rounds may not seem like a lot, but 3-minute rounds and this Muay Thai action-packed. And that shot by Fairtex got through to the ribs of Sari.
Sari tried to minimize the impact on the judges by grabbing the leg and looking like it was his strategy to grab a hold of the leg, but he took a good shot.
Jongsanan looks like he's a bit quicker than Sari here in the first round. Just the beginning of this 5-rounder from San Jose. French fighter and an expat Thailand fighter now fighting out of San Francisco, just up the road from here in San Jose, nearing the end of the first. Along with Mike Sawyer in between rounds 1 and 2.
Sammy Kepchi on the right in the black t-shirt from France, just giving what for to Mourad Sari. Apparently doesn't think he's aggressive enough. Wants him going after Jongsanan more, it seems.
Well, Fairtex seemed to be pulling the trigger just a little bit quicker. Well, Sari does not look worried sitting in that corner between these rounds, Mike. He looks bored.
Yeah, a lot of these fighters, the first round is a feeling out round. They're in such good condition. It looks like they're fighting hard in the first round, but they're just getting warmed up. Traditionally, Muay Thai fights, these 5-rounders, it's the second through the fourth rounds that are just barn burners.
What a contrast over in Jongsanan's corner, where he does not take a seat between rounds.
His cornerman, Ganyal Fairtex on the right, David Smith on the left. They worked with all the Fairtex fighters. They've been with Jongsanan ever since he came to the United States.
We're starting to see the Bay Area, particularly San Francisco, become one of the strong bases for Muay Thai and for a lot of Thai fighters.
The center for Muay Thai in North America, I would say.
Referee John Shorley gets the fighters ready to go, and they do ring the bell for the beginning of round 2, scheduled for 5 Muay Thai rounds. Fairtex with a quick little jab to the face of Sari.
Oh, good round kick by Jongsanan, just glanced off of the chin of Sari. Sari still favoring his hands. Looks like he's trying to set up his right jab and his straight left.
Big welt on the left shoulder blade of Sari. You see it right there. We saw it as he went to his corner at the end of the first. Definitely a telltale sign of some contact from Fairtex.
Probably the right leg of Jongsanan Fairtex. He's been trying to set that up on every clash. Seems to just use his hands to try to set up those roundhouse kicks.
He might be trying to open up Sari a little bit more also when they're in a clinch, when they're in tight like that. He'll throw some punches, but here comes Sari with a big left.
Sari, a good left hand and a good left knee strike. Jongsanan ties him up.
That was the best moment so far from Mourad Sari in the white trunks. He still needs to do something about that roundhouse kick from Jongsanan Fairtex.
Oh, and Sari just took a strong right roundhouse kick to the inside of his right thigh. Just shook it off. It was almost hard to see it happen, but he's hurting from it.
A quick knee strike right at the end of that last exchange by Fairtex as well. Sari saw that big kick coming.
I'll tell you, Lon, those roundhouse kicks of Jongsanan Fairtex are so fast. Sari is just looking to try to get out of the way. Doesn't even want to get his arms in the way.
He got himself in the way of a low blow from Jongsanan that time. Took a quick breather and reset. That was off the arm of Sari.
He ate the right leg under the arm, though.
And there you see Jongsanan throwing those punches when his leg is being held by Sari. And holding the leg is legal. As you said, Mike, things heating up here in round number 2. And for the better for Jongsanan Fairtex.
Jongsanan is throwing that roundhouse kick at a real low angle, almost a half front kick, half roundhouse kick, and it's just coming straight up from the floor and slipping right under the arm of Sari.
I'm surprised we're not seeing more kicks below the waist.
Well, Fairtex looks like he's found a weak spot on Sari, and he's exploiting it.
Nearing the end of round number 2, scheduled for 5 here in San Jose. Definitely a more active round than round number 1, and a good one for Jongsanan Fairtex. Mourad Sari, who got an earful from Sami Kepchi, well, he's probably going to get another earful as well. Meanwhile, Sari will go in, and he will sit down, and we will come back to San Jose to continue this title fight in just a moment. And Jongsanan Fairtex has learned to live with that. Sari is going to have to find some other way to defend that kick.
Jongsanan is just the faster of the two fighters, Lon. They're both very experienced young guys. 27 for Sari, 26 for Jongsanan Fairtex, but a lot of fights. 46 fights for Sari and 78 fights for Jongsanan. It's a lot of fights for this point in his career.
Right now, I'm going to give the fight to Fairtex after the first 2 rounds. And here is where Mourad Sari in the white trunks is going to have to pick things up if he wants to win.
The first thing he's going to have to do is start blocking that right roundhouse kick of Jongsanan. He's landing a half a dozen times around with it under the left arm of Sari, and that area has got a big red welt from the armpit all the way down to his hip bone.
Already we're seeing a more animated Mourad Sari, but it also looks like Jongsanan is ready for him. Good body shot from Sari after that low left foot kick. Haven't seen a lot of low kicks in this fight so far.
So Jongsanan tried to counter with knee strikes that time. Wasn't really successful. But it looks like he might be picking that up as a counter strategy to Sari's inside work with his hands.
As good as a fighter might be, he's going to have to learn to change. He's going to have to learn to find a different route to his opponent partway through a fight if he needs to, and that is one thing Sami Kepchi was undoubtedly telling Sari in between the rounds.
Kepchi seems to want Sari to use more leg kicks, try to keep Jongsanan from just picking up those legs and kicking Sari at will. Oh, good roundhouse kick up to the head, just didn't have a lot of steam on it.
Well, the left knee strike did get the breadbasket of Sari. The right one could have ended the fight, just swung right over the head. And that's how he got that welt in the first round.
Jongsanan very patient, taking his time. Had a clear shot at Sari, just perfectly happy to land the roundhouse kick and move off. Oh, big knee strike by Jongsanan.
Don't think a knee strike is only effective to the stomach. You saw right there, Jongsanan Fairtex can take a fighter out to the head with a knee strike.
And he just missed the jaw of Sari with that knee strike.
Well, the left foot got to Fairtex, but it was Sari who took the brunt of the punishment.
A little low with that kick.
Well, you know, we saw Sari now come in with a different tactic here in round 3, but Jongsanan also fighting a different fight. That's the first time we've really seen a roundhouse kick to the upper body, which was his favorite weapon in the first 2 rounds. So more animated round, but another good one more on the defensive side for Jongsanan Fairtex. Into the corner with Mourad Sari. Undoubtedly, Sami Kepchi has more advice for his fighter. Back to San Jose in a moment. As much as Fairtex liked the roundhouse kick in the early rounds, last round he went to the knee, Mike.
Did now. Sari almost landed a big roundhouse kick on the side of the head, but you saw Jongsanan just move his head a little bit to the left. He turned it into a victory for himself by pushing Mari down to the canvas. Coming up is this big knee strike we talked about, and if Sari had not got his glove in the way, that may have taken him out. Those knee strikes are devastating.
Into the corner once again with Mourad Sari, 41-5, 27-year-old, is the freestyle rules world champion, and they're another world champion, Jongsanan Fairtex in the ISKA Oriental Rules Division. This is a Muay Thai fight, welterweight division, ISKA Intercontinental title. John Shirley, referee, trying to get the corners cleaned up just a little bit. And they do indeed. And Mourad Sari really has to turn things on in this last 2 rounds, Mike.
He's behind on points. This is going into the 4th round. He doesn't have a lot of time. Now, that kind of a move will not really gain points on the judge's card, except it shows that Jongsanan is more in control. But it does tire a fighter out having to get up off that canvas.
Jongsanan Fairtex has definitely taken control of this fight in a number of ways, both defensively and offensively. And by changing tactics, by changing attack weapons, he has kept Sari off balance.
Sari just can't get anything going offensively. He tries a few things. You saw a moment ago the leg kick worked, but Jongsanan came back with his own counter. Just very fast, well-schooled, and just fast with everything he does.
Well, the gloves of Sari have been the best weapon, and that may be a little uncalled for. It was out of, I don't know if he's trying to go for the knee strike or the roundhouse, but in either case, Sari was down on a knee.
Jongsanan being warned sternly by referee John Shorley not to let that happen again. Once a fighter is touching the canvas, he cannot be hit.
Just when you think Fairtex is done, he comes back and snaps another roundhouse off.
Well, again, he takes an attack by Sari and he turns it to his advantage with two good roundhouse kicks.
Well, if Sari has not solved the puzzle of Fairtex by now, can he do it at all, Mike?
I don't think he can do it in these last two rounds. I think Sari's got to concentrate on what he has been doing well, which he's been leading well with the jab, following with the roundhouse kicks. If he keeps that up and just does it over and over again, he may be able to take control in these last two rounds.
Well, he's definitely been much more effective with the gloves.
He cannot win a kicking contest against Jongsanan.
How could a man standing on one leg still remain standing when that leg's being kicked?
He's very, very strong. Now, you can grab the leg in Muay Thai fighting, but you have to try to counter immediately after it's grabbed.
Sari has been smothered by Jongsanan Fairtex so far through almost 4 full rounds.
I don't think Sari thought that Jongsanan would concentrate on body kicks like he has.
A good round 4 for Jongsanan Fairtex. We'll come back with a final round of this title fight. Join us in San Jose. Fantastic kickboxing fans here. The San Jose State Event Center into the corner with Mourad Sari. At this point, Mike, it's his fight to lose. He's going to probably have to have a knockout in this 5th to win it.
There's no question Jongsanan is clearly ahead in this fight. Sari may have the power for that knockout. He might not, but if he doesn't at least knock Jongsanan Fairtex down once or twice this round, it's over for him. This is the pattern the entire fight. Sari on the offensive. He misses and he takes the harder shots from Jongsanan Fairtex. And those kicks by Fairtex, as you saw there, Sari leaning back to get out of the way, were so hard, so fast, that Sari doesn't even want to put his hands in the way.
And what's that guy do rubbing his side like that? Did you see that? Huge welt on that arm on Sari.
Now this is where Jongsanan was penalized. You see Sari clearly has a knee down on the canvas, and still Jongsanan comes in with a round kick. And we've learned that, in fact, referee John Shorley did take a point away from Jongsanan Fairtex on that penalty.
I think that is the right decision. And you see the damage that has been done to Mourad Sari. Well, that's really the first emotion we've seen from Mourad Sari over in his corner. He's going to need a lot more of that into the 5th round against this man, Jongsanan Fairtex, who was ahead after 4 rounds. 1 round to go. Muay Thai action.
Well, when you look across the ring and your opponent is stretching to get warmed up, and you've already fought 4 rounds, and he's not even breathing hard, that's kind of discouraging, Lon, if you're Mourad Sari.
Well, Sari should be discouraged so far through these 4, but he's got to turn things around. And already he looks a little more active here in the beginning seconds of the 5th and final round. If you're Jongsanan Fairtex, I don't think you just cover up in this 5th round.
Because that's what'll happen, is you'll catch a good one like he just did from Sari. Sari clearly the better hand fighter of the two, but does he have enough power to take Jongsanan down?
Well, he's only been able to go for the short bursts. As we saw in that last replay, he grabs the leg and then he doesn't really have any leverage to throw the strong punch at Fairtex, and that's why he's not been so effective.
It's going to be Sari's hands against the lightning legs of Jongsanan Fairtex for the last 3 minutes of this fight.
So far, the legs of Fairtex have won out through the first 4 rounds. Now Sari needs a knockout here in the 5th.
Seems Sari forgot to put his mouthpiece in to start this round.
It's not like Fairtex is a huge punch artist coming in here. He might knock his teeth out with a kick, but
he may. Right before they broke, he hit him with a roundhouse kick that knocked Sari back to the center of the ring.
And that hurt as well. And you saw the welts underneath the left arm of Sari between rounds, and you saw a perfect, there's another example of why those welts are there and why he's going to hurt tomorrow.
Oh, and again, a knee strike, then 2 roundhouses. Oh, and another one to the same spot. Sari just cannot stop the roundhouse kicks of Jongsanan.
Fairtex did not need it, but he is having his best round of the fight. And that certainly backed Mourad Sari off.
Jongsanan Fairtex has taken basically one technique and one strategy and has won this fight with it, and there you saw it again. The right roundhouse kick. Sari just cannot stop it.
And it's not only scoring points, it's just keeping Sari away and keeping him off his offensive game.
Of course, no padding between that shin bone and the ribs when that kick lands on Sari's side.
Well, Jongsanan Fairtex just needs to survive his final 5 seconds. And he's all but assured the welterweight intercontinental title in the Muay Thai rules division. And there it is. Certainly a tremendous warrior, Jongsanan Fairtex, and take nothing away from Mourad Sari. Of course, we haven't heard the official announcement yet, Mike, but both these fighters deserve the cheering and applause and respect that this crowd is giving them at this moment.
2 great warriors, 2 great champions in the ring. But this, I think it's clear, it's Jongsanan's fight.
It's great to see these Thai fighters come out of their shell when they come over to the U.S. You really wouldn't see any of them that demonstrative over in Thailand.
Well, Lon, as you remember, we have been there, you and I, in Lumpini Stadium, and the crowd is very enthusiastic, but they tend to be enthusiastic about the fights in general, not the fighters in particular. This crowd here just loves Jongsanan.
An excellent battle for this man. He had many great moments, but his 5th round might have been his best.
Well, and some handwork by Jongsanan that's a little unusual for this fight. He concentrated more on his kicks.
Judge at ringside, Jack Reese scores about 47-47, even a draw. Overruled by judges Abe Ballardo, scores about 48-46, and Susan Thomas Gitman scoring about 48.5 to 45.5 in favor of the winner of the ISKA Intercontinental Championship, Jongsanan Fairtex.
So there is the official announcement, Mike. One of those judges had to be scoring one of Sari's previous